Tyler, who lives in Durham, North Carolina, at last got into college and found a job with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Batts served a brief jail sentence, and that was it. For many people, the metamorphosis that Stone Tyler chose, new name, new social security number, might seem like an extreme response to an admittedly awful situation, and I wouldn't recommend going quite that far. But from where he sat, he saw no choice. This con was just too much for him. His rude ordeal taught this young man, who had been leading an unremarkable life in North Carolina, that he lived in a new world in which all identities are at risk, and in essence are in play. I know cons, and right away I saw that this one was going to be the sweetest of all. For the past 32 years, ever since forsaking my foolish teenage infatuation with perpetrating swindles, I've been a professional expert in how to prevent fraud. Nearly 20 years ago, as I was busy trying to help banks and businesses stop the spiraling increase in rubber checks and wily embezzlement schemes, it became obvious to me that a brand new fraud, still in its formative stages and without even a clarifying name, was destined to overwhelm all the others as the clear crime of choice. In fact, it was a crook's dream come true, the sort of surefire caper that makes a career criminal glad he ignored his mother's advice and picked the wrong side of the law. Years before, I would never have guessed that it could even be invented, for it was the most incredible but also the simplest crime ever perpetrated, and if I manage to live 40 more years, it will remain the simplest crime ever committed, and the most profitable. This festering crime is what we now know as identity theft, the wholesale lifting of someone's identity for illicit gain. It's stealing that identity, then using it to access a person's bank account, their personal information, and their personal finances. It's becoming someone else for the bucks. Why did I think it contained such enormous promise for thieves? First of all, it is elementary to pull off. If you have my name, my date of birth, and my social security number, that's pretty much all you need in order to become me. It takes very little investment capital. A phone and a cheap computer will get you started. If you want to write phony checks, you'll need a few vital tools like a blow dryer, cake pans, and a common household chemical. You can pick them up at your nearest discount drugstore, and no one will be the wiser. Then, the rewards are enormous. Identity theft will afford you access not only to someone's wallet and bank account, but to his very life and character, his entire ability to borrow and spend. Are you worried about the law? No need. Technology has made identity theft easy to execute behind the shadowy cloak of a computer keyboard. You don't even have to be in the same city or country as your victim. You can steal someone's identity without being able to speak his language or pronounce her name. Moreover, law enforcement cares less about identity theft than it does about double-parked cars and public loiterers. Your chances of getting caught are minuscule. But even if you do get caught, you are unlikely to spend a single night in jail. Swiping a kid's bike might have graver consequences. When I ran all these things through my mind, they unnerved me to no end, and my long-dormant criminal instincts stirred a little and made me think. Why didn't they invent this con back when I could have used it? When I was passing phony checks in other people's names more than 30 years ago, for example, it took me 3 months and $1 million Heidelberg printing press to create and cash a realistic-looking product. Today, criminals do it in an instant on a $500 computer, with no witnesses to pick them out in a lineup, because they're doing it from an armchair in China or Russia, a continent away. And checks are simply one piece of an identity thief's arsenal. In recent years, identity theft has become the very monster I feared it would become. It's a crime so versatile that the list of potential targets is endless. Who's at risk? Anyone who has a credit card or a bank account, or who pays a bill. Anyone who has a mortgage, a car loan, or a debit card. Anyone who has a driver's license, a social security number, or a job. Anyone who has phone service or health insurance. Anyone who goes on the internet. Even somebody who is always watching his back, like me. People of all ages, all races, all